Alright, we're here to talk to you, hi10spro, on the eve of our 10 million downloaded view. We switched rackets. We're playing with a Aero Pro Drive GT 2011 version. Okay, they run about 150 US. Someone offered it to me for two for 150. I'm a sucker for a deal. Besides, I figure I hate spending money on rackets. I've actually asked Bob a lot to sponsor me. Go Red Sox. Alright, so we'll talk to you today about when you change rackets. I'm going from an 8.5 ounce racket to a 10.2 ounce racket. And it doesn't sound like a lot. It's about 1.8 ounces. It's a lot. And the first thing you're going to notice, it's also a smaller head. And so when you have a smaller head, like with a large frame head, you have to take a longer swing. Okay? With a heavier racket and a smaller head, I can take a shorter swing because it's heavier. So when I make impact, the racket will carry a lot of force through the ball itself. Okay? And so what I'm finding is when I get a shot here out of my zone, my old racket, I was dead. I couldn't do anything with this ball. New racket, I can. Issue I am having is serving. When I'm serving, I have to make sure the racket's set before I hit the ball. Okay? But the secondary issue is my wrist. I initially hurt my wrist previously because I was trying to play with pure drive. It's extremely heavy racket, 12 ounces, 4 ounce difference. Okay, so I'm looking at this racket as a transition racket. It may or may not be my permanent racket. I'm looking to play with it for another year or so. I have 30 days until the ITF, and I am just going to try and swap to this racket because the ITF is November, and I really want to have a good showing at the Thai Nationals in December, and then the ITF in Pattaya in February. That's the tournament I really want to do well at. So this racket switch is going to be for the December tournament. I would never recommend a racket switch in the middle of the season. You know, like how Roger tried to do. Anyway, so first key, we must have a short backswing to make impact in front. We always have to make sure impact in front. We're working on using more body now. Previously, my racket was so stiff, I couldn't take a full swing. I always would have to hold back my forehand. If I took a full swing, the odds were it was probably going to launch. Okay? And so it'd be interesting to see the transition as I go through this new frame. Secondly, on injuries, I think a very common injury is a wrist injury because strokes nowadays are very risky. And so what's happening for me is I'm noticing various pains. The key for that is weightlifting, weight loss, and stretching. And it sounds so simple, but it's so difficult. And the first key is don't play too much. I mean, I try to play 3 times a week, but I take a rest every other day. I do play a lot. On Tuesdays I play for 4 hours. On Thursdays I play for 4 hours. But it's all doubles. Sundays I'll try to play a singles match. My wrist, when you're making impact with the ball, you have to try to make sure that your wrist stays at L shape and that you're using your whole arm to swing. Don't be this arm to the swing. So you're hitting a shot, and I'm trying to pretend that this elbow and my shoulders are together. Okay? So when you make impact, shoulders and elbow are together. So you make impact and then you launch to a shot. Remember, it's circular as I rotate like this, but then when you make impact, it's extended out like this. And that video I did of Thomas Berdych has the same thing, where you see Thomas Berdych extended out like that. Okay. It's very difficult to stretch your wrist. You can do these. They recommend putting your hands on the table like this, leaning over. I'll do these. Okay, I'll do these for my shoulder. I hardly ever have shoulder problems. Knock on wood. Okay, like this, over, and make sure you have range of motion. So these are good. Up and downs, crossovers. Once you injure your shoulder, there's really nothing you can do. I do a lot of cable pulls. I do cross cables like this, and I'll do reverse pulls, where the cables are up high, then I'll do middle, and I'll do low. That stabilizes my shoulder. I do presses also. But I don't do a lot, and I never do a press behind the neck. The other issue you're going to have in your back, right here, and to really correct that, you need to do all the lying, like lying your tummy and do Superman, okay? But you also need to be able to flex your hamstrings. I like this one because it's not that painful. Crossover, hang, crossover, hang, then feet together and hang. Do these for about, you do it for about 10 seconds each, okay? And then lie on your back and bring one leg to your chest, Put the other leg down. Lie on your back, do the same thing. Then cross over like this. If you don't want to lie on the ground on your back, you can sit down like this. And you'll feel it right here. Same thing. Sit down like this. Some people like to do the bird, where you're like this, and then you come down. Because if you try to make your back as flat as possible, that really helps the core. Okay. The other thing too is you want to do a scorpion where you lie on your back, take this leg, pull it over, and so you're on your back like this. And then you do the coming back over. Some people like the reverse, where you lie on your stomach, and then you pull the leg over like that. It's up to you. The biggest injuries for you are going to be your lower back, your wrist, your elbow. For my elbow, I just do forearm curls. I do reverses now. Because I hurt my wrist, I can't do wrist curls like this. So I just do reverse curls. I can't even do a tricep curl anymore. So I don't do that anymore. Okay. The other injury you're going to have is your knee. Knee injuries, I think, are related to weight. Unless you have impact on your knee, it's pretty much weight related or shoe related. Because if you have a high shoe and your leg is up, then that could cause knee pain, which will be also feel in your back. Okay. I like to do calf raises, seated leg presses, where you're sitting in a chair and you're pushing off with your legs here. And I like to do hamstring, where you're on the tummy and you're putting the weight like this. Okay. I don't like the seated extension like this. I feel it hurts my knee, so I don't do those. The last injury is your Achilles tendon. Get very careful about this. And if you can do a stretch like this, where you just put your weight like this, because the calf stretch is like this, we go forward, but the Achilles stretch is reverse. So you go up to a ledge and you put your foot like this and you lean into it, and that's your Achilles stretch. If you start to feel any kind of Achilles pain, I think that's a stretching thing, but it also has to be medical, so you have to watch out for some of your antibiotics. So on the injury issue, try to watch your weight, try to weight train, try not to have any overuse injuries. Good luck.